Topic of discussion today is Anubi is heaven. Yeah, a lot of people will think that Anubi is heaven is actually the same Anubi during the time of Osiris, the falsehood Osiris. That's not true. What happens is that the original Anubi is heaven actually was created by Jehovah, is the creator's angel. And in this topic of discussion today, you'll see why the Anubi is heaven was created. And you'll see from the OahspeCollegeUniversity verses clearly stating why this Anubi is heaven was created. Equivalent of Anubi is heaven would be, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the word purgatory before. And for some reason, that word purgatory was removed from the King James Bible. And in this topic of discussion today, I'm going to decode the reason why, and you see why they actually removed it from the King James Bible. That's because, if people was to have faith in the creator, for example, and don't practice, then the Christendom is gonna lose a lot of souls. Brothers and sisters, welcome to the OahspeCollegeUniversity. Topic of discussion today is Anubi is heaven, and I'm gonna show from the OahspeCollegeUniversity why the Anubi is heaven was created and for the reason why. And please do not confuse Anubi with the Anubi that has a storyline in Egypt. That came later on. There was an Anubi heaven, and there is an equivalent of Anubi heaven today also. But let's go to this topic today. This is an interesting topic, and you'll see why. And I love this topic. When I read it, and I was like, wow, the creator has provision and have answers to every spirit, human spirits and angel spirit. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to go to the book of Wars, chapter 3, verse 6 to 10. And I'm going to read from the book of Wars, chapter 3, verse 6 to 10. Verse 6. Now it came to pass in the course of time that some corporeans are human beings, who did not belong to the society of Fathers of any of the tribes of Jehovah is chosen. You see that? Become believers in the all person and believe that to live by all highest light was the fulfillment of the divine law, and they did not join the Fathers and follow the rites and ceremony. Let us pause for a minute. You see that? What this verse is saying is that let's take, for example, there's a group of Fathers that live in New York City, and the other religion people, the Buddha religion, the Muslim people, the Christian, the Hindu followers, started noticing a difference in the Fathers community in New York City, for example. And they said, oh, wait a minute. So they started following the same thing those Fathers in New York City was doing, but they did not follow the rites and ceremony, and they didn't do, but they just believed in the creator. We all know that the Fathers only believe in the creator, but the religion people believe in God, that God is sitting in a mountaintop somewhere in heaven. Now I'm going to read this verse 6 again, because this is beautiful. Now it came to pass in the course of time that some companion who did not belong into the society of the Fathers of any of the tribes of Jehovah is chosen, become believers in all person, and believe that to live by the all highest light was the fulfillment of the divine law. See, they just believed in the creator, but they did not associate themselves together. They did not associate with the Fathers, nor did they follow the rites and ceremony. We're going to go to verse 7, and verse 7 says, God propounded. You see that? This is interesting. You will never see this in King James Bible, that God propounded. God propounded, that means God was thinking, or he was thinking to do something, and he paused for a minute to think about it. You will never see this in any scripture. God propounded. This is in Diva. Where shall the spirit of this be delivered? You see that? Do you see the glory of the creator? They have provision for humans who actually believed in the creator but did not follow the rules and regulation. In other words, they didn't follow the commandment of the creator. They did not follow the rules and regulation. But God propounded. He now has the diva, which is the council, where shall the spirits of this be delivered? Listen to this. Behold, even on earth they have delivered themselves away from drugs. Shall we now suffer them to fall into the kingdoms of mixed company in Ada? Do you see that? So they're looking for a way to provide for those who even have faith in the Creator, but they did not even follow the rules and regulation. You see that? Upon this, the diva decreed, a separate kingdom shall be prepared for those who believe but have lived isolated and who do not know the rites and ceremony. This was the fourth session of the divine law. The fifth was like it, but explanatory, which was, I'm going to pause for him. I'm going to go to verse 9. You see, a separate kingdom, in other words, a new heaven, an heavenly kingdom will be provided for those who just have belief, but they did not follow the rights. In other words, they didn't follow the rules and regulations. They didn't follow the laws. You see how the Creator provide for angels. But when you look at the Christian God, he does not provide. In fact, there's a verse in the OahspeCollegeUniversity. If you have not watched my video, you should go watch my video about falsehood religion. And I did a video about sacred and holy book. In there's a verse in the OahspeCollegeUniversity that talks about how when the Christians die, the host of angels, you see that? But yeah, the Creator's angels are providing for those who just have faith in the Creator. This is amazing. Verse 9. To have faith in one great person, the ever-present Spirit, Creator and Ruler, is well. You see that? But to have such faith and yet not commit oneself to an association of brethren of like faith proves a lack of discipline, and that requires beginning at the fifth grade in the ECN world. You see? So, yeah, it's saying that, yeah, they have faith, but they did not associate themselves with faithists. Like, for example, we faithists have a group and a chat room in Facebook. I have a chat room in Facebook. I also have a study group in Facebook. So I associate myself with other faithists. You see? So this is saying, this verse here is saying that they have faith, but they did not have discipline. In other words, they did not commit themselves to association of other brethren that have the same belief system with them. You see? And yeah, the Creator's angel are going to provide for this person. This is how the Anubi's heaven came about, as you will see in the upcoming chapter. Now, it says at the beginning of the fifth grade, there's grades in heaven. So they're going to put them on the fifth grade. And in heaven, ECN means heaven. It's the same thing, spirit world, intermediate world, atmosphere in heaven, whatever you want to call it, ECN. And they're going to start at the fifth grade. You see that? Now, to the next verse. Verse 10. The sixth session of the divine law provided the kingdom for those who profess faith in the great person Jehovah, but are without practice, you see that, shall be called Mende or Mendi. So I'm going to say Mendi, and his place shall be in the first remove from the earth. See, let me just read this verse 10 again. The sixth session of the divine law provided the kingdom for those who profess faith in the great person Jehovah, but are without practice, shall be called Mende, and its place shall be in the first remove from the earth. This is wonderful. And now when you go to the book of Words chapter 4 verse 1 to 6, the book of Words chapter 4 verse 1 to 6, it says, verse 1, Jehovah spoke to God. I love that verse. You'll never see that in the King James Bible, where Jehovah spoke to God. In the King James Bible, just confusion. You don't know who's talking. You don't know who God is in charge. Which God is talking. Yeah, it's clearly saying Jehovah spoke to God, saying, because you have founded Mendel, you shall make medicinal laws, and you shall send your surveyors down to Ada and down to the earth also, and they shall choose a heavenly place for your new kingdom. And they shall go and create a plateau and holy place and capital and provide a throne for it. You see that? The Creator is providing for those who just have faith and do not practice. So I'm going to use me an example. So take me for an example. I just have faith in the Creator, but I don't follow the rites and ceremony of the Creator. I don't follow His commandment, but I just have faith in Him. What this verse and what this book of Wars, chapter 4, verse 1 to 6 is, they're going to provide for me. There's provision for me. So I'm not going to go to hellfire like the Christians, especially the religion people do. You know, it's dominant with the Christendom. The Christianity says you're going to go to hellfire if you don't believe in Jesus Christ. Yeah, the Creator is even providing for you that on the heavenly kingdom will be provided for you. We're going to go to the next verse. Verse 2. And when you have completed your work, you shall appoint a sub-God. You see that, to the throne, who shall rule in the place with wisdom, power, love in my name. You see that? Verse 3. But since many of my chosen forget me, listen to this. This is where it goes. But since many of my chosen forget me, and so apostate themselves, your sub-God shall also receive their spirit, and his kingdom shall be their kingdom till they have purged of their sins. You see, I could call this purgatory heaven. This is an equivalent. This is a purgatory heaven. This is purgatory heaven right here. And in the next upcoming verse, you're going to see how Anubi was dedicated for this heavenly kingdom. Verse 4. God spoke in the council of Kaoshovi relating to what Jehovah had said to him. And the council then ratified the commandment of Jehovah. And Hanshongli was selected and made sub-god of Mendi with the title Anubi, signifying mediator and judge of grades. So verse 4 here clearly tells you how Anubi was made a god, a sub-god of the Mendel heaven, the purgatory heaven. And this is where the falsehood Osiris, the fake Osiris who rose in Egypt, took the concept from, and they had a fake angel who followed them and also used Anubi. And this is how they took it. So what happens, the original Anubi concept, the original Anubi theology came from the chosen, from the Creator's angel. They had this concept. They had this running already. They had created this. And what I notice in the OahspeCollegeUniversity is that when true God create something, a false God follows and do the same thing. You see that? Verse 4 clearly stated that Anchong League was selected and made sub-god of the Mendi heaven, and he was titled Anubi, signifying mediator and judge of grades. So Anubi was responsible to take charge. He was responsible to lift up people who have faith in the Creator, and they have no practice. They don't follow the commandments of the Creator. They just believe in it. They just have faith in the Creator, and that's it. And so when those humans die, they go to the Anubi heaven. Do not confuse Anubi, this particular Anubi, with a fake Anubi that rose during the time of the falsehood Osiris now. You see what I'm saying? They are not the same. And this is just to prove to you that the Creator doesn't abandon his followers. The Creator doesn't abandon those who just have faith. And I'm not talking about Jesus Christ here. Let's not get this confused. I'm not talking about Jesus Christ here at all. If you have faith in Jesus Christ, that's your choice. You're going to get drafted to Jesus Christ's heaven. And that's a Judean God. This topic of discussion was to show you that the Creator also provides for his people who just have faith and do not follow his commandment. And their educational system they're going to go through. As you see now. Verse 5, God said, Anubi shall have a badge and a pair of scales with my own hands, and I will invest him. And according to his kingdom of Kaoshovi, God, under the commandment of Jehovah, duly established the place, kingdom, person, and the badge of office. And a term of office was made to correspond with God and his Lord. You see? And thus put upon the throne in the heavenly place, Mendel, was Anubi, who had been actually an angel of 1,000 years in the colleges of Jehovah, most wise and fulfilled of law and industrious also. This is wonderful. So you see, this verse says he had experience, he has been in the college of Jehovah for 1,000 years. So Jehovah provides for his people, those who just have faith and don't even follow his commandment. And what this verse 6 is saying is that they're gonna dwell, they're gonna remain in the heavenly kingdom of Mende, Anubi's kingdom, Anubi's heaven, until their scale, their grade is in proper order, and they've purged themselves, as you see in the previous verse, where they're gonna have to purge their sins. Once they're in the proper good grade, then they could be drafted to first resurrection educational system. From there, they go to second resurrection. And after that, they're going to go into third heaven, when they become bride and bridegroom. And if you've not watched my video about education in heaven, I strongly encourage you to go watch it. India tells you that the Creator even provide for his people. You see what I'm saying? This is amazing. That I found this wonderful, that the Creator actually have provision for those who don't believe in them. And this is how the Anubi heaven was created. You see that? And again, I'm going to say this strongly. Do not misquote me here. This is not the same Anubi that rose during the time of the first Osiris. There also fake Osiris that also used the same concept in Egypt. He also had a Anubi, but that's not the same. Yeah, Rapsi tells you Achong Li was the angel who was Anubi, and he was in charge for the Mende heaven, the purgatory heaven. Brothers and sisters, light and peace now. Bye bye now.